Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Here we are at number 84 on the 2023 roster countdown for the 49ers, and we have undrafted free agent Shae Wyatt. Wide receiver tape is usually pretty fun, just because you just get to see him in a one-on-one athletic situation against an opponent, and Shae Wyatt does not disappoint. Now, he's an undrafted guy, had a long journey from Omaha, Nebraska. He did kind of the D2 thing, which was pretty fun, and then he goes to Tulane. So he went Central Missouri, then he went down to Tulane, and just performed well everywhere he went. And we're going to hear some quotes from him, some quotes from his coaches. We're going to go through his PFF scores, some tape analytics, all those things. But let's start with kind of what his make and build is, right? So jersey number 41, back end guy. He's not getting his choice of receiver. He wore 10 in college, so the fighting Jimmy G's. 5'10", 188, and you can find he's not a combine guy, and so you can find heights and weights all over the place, as much as 6'1", 6'2". He's 5'10", 188. Small arms, 31-inch arms, but he had a 76-inch wingspan, which means he's got a really wide frame. He's 24 years old. And again, this isn't a combine guy. So workout numbers are all over the place. I've seen 4.66 40, and I've seen a 4.40 from Dane Brugler from a pro day of some sort. So no official laser time, all those things. I can tell you this. Tape says he's quick. Now, is he a 4.4 guy? I don't think so. I don't think that's really how he wins. Very, very athletic, crazy flexibility, and just, man, he is a football player. He's a basketball player, too. All-state basketball guy in Nebraska. Like, he's an athlete. Now, 10-yard split, 1.49. That's incredible. 3 cones, 6.83. Incredible. Small, shifty, tough. Likes going over the middle, which for a smaller guy, under 190, is usually not what you see. 39.5-inch vertical. He's a baller. He's a basketball player. Broad jump 10.7. Now, bench press reps was 5. That's really, really bad. I don't even know why you do it at that point, but he's not hiding anything. And when you're a UDFA like him, you got to go out there and just do your thing. Now, he went to Millard West High School in Omaha, Nebraska. And graduated with a psych degree. Very smart. Very, very, very smart. A big reason why he transferred from Missouri State to Tulane was their academics, and he excelled. In high school, he excelled. In college, he excelled. Like, he's a smart kid. So, when he was in high school, so let's do this. Let's do high school, some notable points. We'll do, his time at D2, then we'll do his time at Tulane. In high school, first team All-State in Nebraska. He was a ball. He was really good at football. First team All-State in basketball. He averaged 22.5 points in the state tournament, and academics were really important to him from the start. Really, really were. And so he goes to Central Missouri because it's very similar. Ronnie Bell's story is almost identical. Baller. And whenever you're competitive in the AAU and basketball scene, you're missing out on a lot of these 7-on-7 football camps and combines and all those things. And so sometimes you go a little under the radar. Same thing happened with Ronnie Bell. And the basketball, I personally think playing basketball helps you play football, but it does lead you to be a little less noticed. So he goes to D2, Central Missouri, showed up and just was a baller. 2019, he was second team All-American D2. He had 1,400 yards. He averaged over 111 yards receiving per game, 12 touchdowns. He just balled out. If you look at just his 2-year career at Central Missouri, 2,200 yards, and he's one of only 6 players ever in that program to surpass 2,000 total yards. He was everywhere. AP All-American second team, and you can just go down through all these different awards, whatever else. But he was a scholar athlete. And he was on, the all-academic team every year he was there. Whenever he left, I couldn't find his final GPA, but a 3.5 GPA, and the only player on his team at Missouri State to make the all-academic team. So that tells me something, right? Because academics are important for him, not so much a lot of the players that wound up there. He wound up there just because he didn't have as noticeable athletic profile. But academics are important. Just a hell of a player. And, whenever he transferred from Central Missouri to Tulane, he said, quote, "I wanted to challenge myself to see if I actually belonged at that level," end quote. And did he answer the call ever? Good gosh. So he had 2 years with Tulane, and, man, they had a hell of a year. Finished his career beating USC in the Pro Bowl in a bowl game. Beat USC. Like, that's pretty badass. Now, 2021 is first year at Tulane, right? So this is his 3rd year in college. Played in 10 games, 381 snaps, 76 of those were out of the slot. So he's somebody that can play in the slot. But, man, watching his tape, he's got routes. Like, he runs a very good route tree. Now, he's smaller, and so a lot of times people just kind of pigeonhole smaller quarter or wide receivers to just be slot guys. I do not think that he is just a slot guy. I think that he could play outside just fine. He had 33 catches on 50 targets, which is a 66% completion percentage. Not bad. 376 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's his first year. Now, some of the deep PFF numbers I was able to find on him, 167 of his receiving yards were yards after the catch. Not bad. Not great. 5.1 yards after the catch. Not bad. Not great. Took a huge shot up the next year. 9.9 average depth of target. That's pretty solid. That means the ball's traveling 10 yards downfield. That means he's not doing a lot of screens and slants. No, his routes, pretty freaking solid. One of the things that kind of surprised me, once I saw his height, weight, then, and his speed, then you turn on the tape and it's like, ooh, all right. He had 8 contested catches out of 11 opportunities. That's pretty solid. 5 drops. That's going to get corrected. He had a much better year last year. So in 2021, 5 drops, 13% drop rate. Not good. Only 2 drops in 2022 for a 5% drop rate. So you saw the adjustment. Not the biggest sample size, but improvement. That's what you want from these guys, these prospects, right? Getting better. 8 missed tackles forced. Okay, not great, but that's not his game. He's not big enough or fast enough to kind of break a lot of those tackles. That's not what he does. He does get upfield. He uses his stiff arm really, really well, not in a power sense, but just kind of like keeping the tackler at bay and fighting for more yards. That was kind of the staple that I saw through several, whether it's highlights or the game tape. It was clear to see, like, this dude is a fighter for first downs. And listen to these numbers right here. He had 33 receptions in 2021. 18 went for first downs. 3 went for touchdowns out of 33 receptions. So 63% of his catches in 2021 went for a first or a touchdown. That's pretty good. 91.8% passer rating when targeted. I know this is a lot of numbers, but it's hard to find film on him, so I'm trying to bring his game to life through these numbers. That's what I'm attempting to do. I don't know if we're achieving this, but he's a fun player. You look at his Pro Football Focus scores in 2021, 74.5 grade, offense overall, 84.8 run blocking. Yeah, fits what the Niners do. He blocks. And with somebody playing at Tulane, which, again, had a great, year, but the competition level is not a Power 5 conference, right? Well, hold on, because his highest graded games were against Oklahoma, USF, SMU, and Memphis. His lowest graded games, Morgan State, UAB, ECU. So he shows up to what's ahead of him, so then I jumped to the 2022 tape, the most recent year, 600 snaps, played in 14 games, got a bigger role. But the stats didn't really, let me phrase this. His stats went up, but not his receptions. He's still 35 receptions, from 33 to 35, and you're like, that's weird. But it was just way more efficient. He had 35 receptions on 52 targets, 67% completion percentage, that's standard, but 692 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he saw the same amount of targets, he just did more with it. 297 yak yards. He jumped it up 130 extra yak yards, and he only had 2 more catches. Like, he balled out once the ball was in his hands. Again, how does Shae Wyatt, the wide receiver, fit the 49ers? Yards after catch. 8.5 yards per catch per reception. 14.3 average depth of target. This dude does his work before the ball is in his hands and then afterwards. Only had 2 drops, 13 missed tackles. Now, this was my favorite stat that I found on him in 2022. 25 of his catches were for first downs. 7 were for touchdowns. That's 32. He only had 35 catches. 32 out of 35 catches went for a first or a touchdown. That's 91.4%. Just throw this damn dude the ball. When he was targeted, he had 149.8 passer rating. 158 is perfect. I mean, the dude just was efficient. And when you threw the ball his way, nothing bad happened. No interceptions, none of that stuff. I mean, he was great. He was 9th in all of college football in yards per reception with a 19.8, which, again, not a speed guy, not a tackle breaker, but efficient. Now, this was interesting because in 2021, his best games were against the best opponents. His worst game all year was against USC. That's probably the toughest game he had, but they still won the game. Tulane beat USC, which is crazy. Best games, SMU, good team. USF, good team. Alcorn, bad team. Cincinnati, good team. Listen to, this was the Tulane wide receiver coach. McMiniman was his name. Quote, he's one of the best receivers I've been around as far as body control and quickness. That was what I saw. Body control. His ankle flexibility is crazy. The dude is sideways. It is cuts. It's pretty fun to watch. Very, very shifty. 6.8 3-cone. Good God. This dude can change direction very, very well. Now, McMiniman goes on to say, quote, he's not one of the guys who's going to walk on the turf and run a 4-3. But I know if I had 11 Shae Wyatts, we'd be a really, really good football team, end quote. Like, and that shows on tape. He's fun. You watch his tape, highlights, film, whatever. High-energy athlete. Likes to talk. Really loves the game. Celebrates. Yeah, he's a talker. But he seems to really have fun playing football. Seems like the kid's always smiling, celebrating with his teammates. High-energy player that brings that kind of, I don't know, bravado, I guess is the right word. Now, very fluid in space. Likes going over the middle, but he's not big. Again, 5'10", 188. Not big. But he'll do dirty work. Contested catches are fun, not long arms, but he can jump. And, again, you see a lot of work either over the middle or on the sidelines. You see toe taps. You see, jumping, all that kind of stuff, high pointing the ball. It's fun. The reason why he's undrafted, though, let's just be really honest, his athletic profile is not great. There's not a lot, well, in today's NFL, there's about to be smaller, undersized guys that are not elite athletes. He's not, but he's a baller. He's just a freaking baller. And so whenever you look at when he was brought on to the 49ers, it's interesting because you've got 12 wide receivers on this team. 49ers only keep 5 or 6. That means half are going to get cut. We have so many wide receivers. Now, when he was drafted, this is his response. This is Shae Wyatt's words. Quote, it's still surreal. I'm obviously grateful for the opportunity the Niners have given me, but I know there's a lot of work ahead, and I'm looking forward to it. That's good news. Now, he went on to say that he got 3 more offers from other teams, but chose the 49ers. He said, quote, I just feel more comfortable with the 49ers and the coaching staff, especially with the offense that they run and how they run their organization, end quote. I've said repeatedly that the Niners use their practice squad and undrafted free agents better than any other team in the NFL. And if I had a choice and the 49ers wanted me, that's where I would choose to go regardless of depth chart. Because notice the numbers. He's number 84 on our list here. Not a decent shot to make this team. And I don't know if I said this before, but shout out to Josh, 49ers Guru, for this research. He did a hell of a job. He's 84. This is not a guy that has an easy road to making this team. And if he got 3 other offers, I can guarantee you most teams don't have 12 guys on their roster right now that are wide receivers. The Niners do. And we keep one less because we're a run-heavy team. But if he can make it, that's a big if. He's got an uphill battle. Listen to the names ahead of him. There's a lot, okay? The locks at the wide receiver position, Debo, Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ray McLeod, those are your 4 golden locks, I would put Danny Gray in that category as well, but just because he's a beast special teamer. But, okay, that's 4. Danny Gray, 5, right? Then you got Ronnie Bell, Willie Snead, Chris Conley, Daz Newsome, Tay Martin, Isaiah Winstead, the freak, YouTube sensation, undrafted free agent. And then Shae Wyatt. I have Shae Wyatt behind all of them. How is he going to find his role? Best case scenario for him, man, land on that practice squad. That's what you want to do. Land on that freaking practice squad. If he could do that, yeah, it's going to be a year or 2 delayed. He's going to learn in the system and all those things. But if that can happen, that's what you got to watch for. Number 41, he's fun, guys. His tape is energetic. I would argue much more energetic than Ronnie Bell's, but Ronnie Bell can do more. He can do a lot more. Special teams, he's a lot tougher. He's a lot more physical of a player, all those things. But don't sleep on this kid. We'll have to see what he's made of and what he can make out of it, but I'm excited to have him. And number 84 on the 2023 roster countdown, wide receiver Shae Wyatt. Go get yours, make this team, and for us, we'll just keep counting them down.